like I said, happy anniversary.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Time for a reaction.
I have not seen this.
Newsweek. We had hoped to have him on the channel, but like I said, he's not here tonight, so it's just going to be us.
But hey, thanks, dude, for putting this together. Who would ever thunk it, right, Mover?
Yeah, I posted the trailer, which is funny because the trailer is longer than the actual feature. Labor of love.
Typical fighter pilot, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean... So I posted the trailer yesterday, and the response has been pretty good. It's the second time the response has been pretty good. A lot of backstory behind that one.
Oh yeah,
but it's all approved. It's all legit. Newsweek stuff's all approved, all legit. In fact, it's time. Let's.
Can I say something before you start?
Yeah, say it, please.
Because I don't want to say it after. So I think it's important if people haven't seen this.
I haven't.
Don't ruin it.
No, I'm not going to ruin anything. I'm not going to ruin anything. So the last plane that I knew it was my Finney flight in was the E2 in 2008. Wow. So circumstances out of my control. I did not know my last flight in the Hornet or in the T-45. I think what you guys got to do here is pretty awesome. I've watched both videos 10 times plus at this point. And it's hard to watch for me because I understand, like, you'll have this forever. Like, I remember my last Hornet flight. I remember my last T-45 flight, but to have something like this it's pretty damn special. And it's cool just to be here to watch with you guys, honestly.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. So it's funny because, like, you can always tell when it's some of the older fighter pilots that are responding because they'll say exactly that, which I think is cool. But then they're befuddled by the technology. Like, one guy responded, he's like, "How many cameras did you bring in that jet? I mean, that's amazing. You had all these cameras set up. How did you even see outside?" I'm like, bro, one camera. That's all it was. I think that might be why some of the older, like, boomers get a little upset about it because they're like, he must have had cameras everywhere. He must have had them, helmet and side. And it's like,
can you imagine carrying that?
Yeah, dude. Well, my dad had one of those.
Right.
One giant shoulder.
Well, back in the WWNAM, cameras were forbidden because one individual got their little, 8mm camera and ran into the other asshole because he was trying to film. Yeah. And it's like, we did not do that. We mounted the GoPro. Yeah. The GoPro Max. It's 2 of them, 1 in each jet. And that's it.
Yeah.
That was
looking through I don't have any depth perception.
Any bad flying would have happened with or without the cameras.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Can we watch it now? Are we ready?
Yeah, dude, I've been waiting all day. Exercise extreme.
Believe it or not, it's part of a time.
Okay, hold on. We got to back it on.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Look I'm not used to this level of professional video.
The bromance, if you will. There's even captions for you. See if I can make sure
that's not going to help Gonky. But
he can't read.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Hit it.
Gonky's reaction. I'm going to get rid of the overlay just so we can see your face. Because I don't want to ruin this, okay? Since you're up there. All right, let us begin.
How did these two best friends end up dogfighting their fighter jets over the Florida Panhandle? Believe it or not, it's part of a time-honored tradition in military aviation.
That's not us,
and, I've heard a number of these stories, but this one's pretty cool. And, oh, by the way, they just so happened to film it. With the Air Force's permission, we present to you Gonky and Mover's T-38 Finney flight.
That's Gonky. So cool. Great channel. Check them out. Subscribe.
Yeah.
The military is full of traditions.
We don't do
and
that,
the Aviation Corps is no exception. It starts when pilots first get their wings and ends with their final ride, known as a Finney flight.
And that's all she wrote.
You probably know Mover and Gonky from their YouTube channels, where they talk about all things military aviation.
That's you.
What you may not know is that they also have a shared military service history together, going back over a decade. Their time together began while flying F-18s with the Navy. Then, both moved to flying T-38s in the Air Force. That history continued through January 28, 2022, when the two friends strapped into separate T-38s, taking off on their finny flights together. And like everything in the military, it starts and ends with paperwork.
Awesome. Should be good. Clear step.
Roger. Great times.
You've probably seen a T-38, even if you don't know its name. It's one of the most recognizable military aircraft. It's been used to train generations of pilots over its 50 years of service. Gonky and Mover flew the jet in an adversary role, essentially pretending to be the bad guys to help Air Force pilots hone their air-to-air combat skills.
Finny flight. Take off okay, fly good, land good, or you're fired.
Our pilot ready.
My only plan right now is to successfully get through this. Have a little fun in the process. Maybe eventually get the seat kit connected. There you go. Dude, you've been here since day one of me being here, huh?
Yep, I've been here since
the whole time.
14, I think.
I'm glad you were my crew chief.
One, Eglin Tower, runway 30132013, clear for the option.
Mover and Gonky are friends, but that doesn't mean they're not fierce competitors with a desire to win.
Yeah, I'm coming back left now. I got you in sight.
No boy, do the fangs come out.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
That's not from the fight. That's from something else.
That was fun. Hard to believe it's over. I know, it's crazy, dude. Why are we doing 250? I'm savoring the moment, dude. At some point, I actually got to land this thing.
True to his competitive core, Mover had one last trick up his sleeve.
Let's see it.
Letting Gonky land first.
That's right.
Making sure
That's
his
right.
finny flight
I
was the
landed last. I was the last true bro to land.
Yeah.
Mover and Gonky's finny flight not only marks the end of their time with the T-38, but also the end of an era as the Air Force replaces the jet with more modern aircraft like the T-7, F-16, and F-35. As the two celebrate, their future may be a bit uncertain. But I think the pair is sure to fly again, whether that's in the traditional sense or even something a little bit more unconventional.
Where'd Gonky go?
3, 2, 1, lights on. Whoa, no. Oh, dude. Oh, that is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's they got your name spelled.
They misspelled my name?
No one ever spells your name right.
Yeah.
Rod Hardstock.
Rod
of course. It's what do you?
Oh, dude, that was awesome. You're right on that. I honestly, Mover, how lucky are we to have somebody like
Cool.
Naveed to like really? I mean, that's an awesome product right there.
Dude, that was pretty cool. Those guys.
Kind of speechless.
When we first talked to them, I didn't know what this would become. Because they were just like, "Hey, we're doing this new series, and would you mind helping us out?" And I started talking to him. I said, "Hey, we did this finny flight," and he's like, "That's an awesome story. Let's see if we can get it approved." And lo and behold,
yeah, gosh,
cool.
that's all, man. It's too bad he couldn't have been here to talk with us about that. But yeah, what's funny, man, is I have not. I haven't heard the audio much, and they spliced in some of the audio of us talking, and
I gave him the whole thing. Yeah,
and I it just came to me right now. It's like it's not real often that you get to go out with your buddy and just kind of like make up your own mission, but kind of the banter that we have in the ready room here.
Newsweek said best friend, so just so you know,
bestest
the world
Okay.
It's official.
You go out with your bestie and your fighter jets. It's the comm is just as interesting to me as the flying, you know?
Oh, yeah. How many times did you say, dude? Everybody could VID your voice or AID, audio identify your voice.
Well, you're like, why are we going 250? I'm like, oh, I remember that. Good times, man. Yeah, you're right, Wamba. That's freaking. I'm definitely gonna download that one. Holy cow! I don't know. What do you think, Mover, when you saw it?
I smiled the whole time. I mean, it's the same thing. You sit there and you're like, is it gonna? You're like, oh, okay, it's okay. Because anytime you give up editing control, you know, you're kind of like, I hope he does it right. I hope it doesn't. And then all of a sudden, you're like, damn, this is not bad. And you'll notice the footage. So a couple of the shots are from Whiteman. They're not our jets or Beale or whatever. But a couple shots are from other Finney flights.
Oh, so, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like the breakaway thing, that was Tank's Finney flight.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Because
that's awesome.
Because I kept being tagged as the camera ship, so they would put somebody in my back seat. And so I'd fly, and then they would go, I have the aircraft, and then I'd be the one, you know, doing that. And so like the 3-ship thing, that was Snipe and Tank, where they were going down the coast. That's Snipe, Tank, and Blue going down. And then the other one, I think they might have gotten the one with Tone and Tally.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like way back there, and I had Epic in the back with me.
Yeah, I Mover told me don't watch it, you know, but we'll get a true reaction on the show tonight. But I'm actually really pleased that he tied it into like the whole tradition thing, you know, because that's one of the things, you know, when I was younger and wanted to join, part of it is I wanted to be a part of that tradition.
Yeah.
And you know, it's cool that, you know, he took some footage that we had and made a nice video kind of explaining it and showing it, which is awesome, man. I can't wait to send it to my family. They'll get a kick out of it.
I don't know that we ever got to explain, because, you know, obviously we didn't get to post the full thing, what happened. But, you know, if you remember, you know, we flipped the coin to see who was going to lead.
I lost.
Yeah. Did you lose or win? I don't remember how that
I
worked,
lost.
But, so we decided I was going to lead out. You were going to lead back. And then we took off. We tried to get the unrestricted climb. Eglin said no. I asked like 3 times trying to get, I'm like, this is my last sortie. Give me what if we take off the other, you know, what if we go opposite direction? Is there a way we can do this? And they're like, no. Yeah, whatever. And then, so we tried to get that. That was denied. The weather was kind of skosh. Remember, they had that ceiling, and it was kind of, and you had the ear thing, so you didn't want to go high anyway.
Oh,
you had the sinus thing. Yeah, you were afraid of your sinus block because you were like, I don't want to, you know. So we started fighting, and we couldn't get enough airspace to do anything. So we just kind of did a couple turns, and we're like, okay, knock it off. We're at the floor or whatever. And then we burned down some gas, and we went to Tyndall.
Yep.
And I brought us up initial, and then we pitched out, and then you had trouble. I don't remember what it was, because we did the separate low approaches, and we got to the VFR reporting point. I remember which one, X-ray, I guess. And we were going to rejoin there, and I'm like, dude, where are you? And I don't remember what happened. There was something that happened that you were having trouble like getting back on board. And that's that cross under, because you start on one side and you cross under on the other side. I'm like, all right, you got the lead. And then you come back and request the carrier brake, and somebody comes up behind us, so we can't get it.
Yeah.
So the Navy guy doesn't get the carrier brake on his last military flight. Yeah. But I did.
You did.
Yeah.
That's right. I kind of did. I was on your wing.
Kind of did. Yeah. We did it briefed, all briefed.
100%.
And then
ad nauseum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The models and everything. And then we RTB. We did a beach run back.
Yeah.
And
we beat up the pattern, right? That was it.
Like twice. I mean, you did it twice. I kept going because that was always my plan, was to let you land first, so I'd be last. Because we were the last bros, cool kids. in the squadron. There were a couple of stragglers that kept flying the T-38, but we don't count them.
Right.
But we were the last ones. We turned the lights off, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah. I don't know. Wombat, you got any?
No, there's nothing I can say to that. It was
we
awesome.
did in the Navy. We didn't call them finny flights in the Navy. We called them.
Did you?
No, we didn't call them finny
flight
flights.
204.
That's because
maybe I
named it.
Yeah, I'm like, this is my finny flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just called it like, hey, so and so is 10 out for their last flight, right?
Yeah, there was no
official
no
name.
specific term. Yeah, but
yeah.
But I mean, you never forget it. Like I remember, like I said, the E2 was the last one I knew was going to be mine. And when I went over to Hamburg last week with Terrell, we were sitting in a bar in Germany talking about that flight, and he's like, "Remind me." I was like, "Remember you opened a bottle of soda?" And
he was with you?
He was my co-pilot. Yeah.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
I was like, "Remember how you dropped the cap underneath the rudder pedals and you had to get out of your seat while we were on short final at San Clemente?" And he's like, "I do remember that." You know, so it was like
the weird stuff happens.
The weird, yeah. I mean, so you'll never forget that. That's really cool that you guys.
You know, one thing the Air Force does, like tradition, that's really cool that the Navy doesn't do, is so when I was, I did the first part of the pilot instructor course, the FAPE course, or PIT in San Antonio. And when I first showed up at the squadron there, I can't remember the squadron, but when I showed up in the hallways, they had all these plaques of guys from mainly Vietnam, but the conflicts who had gotten shot down. And so every year I found out, just, talking about these plaques because they were really cool. The Air Force doesn't want your last flight in a jet to be when you got shot down. So they'd bring these, most of these guys are Vietnam vets who got shot down. They bring them out and give them one flight in the T-38.
No kidding.
So their finny flight wasn't them getting shot down. And I thought, man, that's the coolest thing ever. I mean, there was pretty sure they still do. I think they had a name for it, but
if the Navy wants to bring that back, I'll sign up right now. Like you pick a plane, I'll do one more flight because I feel like I got shot down twice.
Yeah.
Not really, but
I've had 3 finny flights in my career, and that was the first one that I did not know what was next. Because I flew the Viper, and it was like, well, I'm going to fly the Hornet. I'm going to go home because I was in Miami and I was ready to get back to Louisiana, and that was just go spend time with my family. Flew the Hornet. I wasn't sure, but I had a good idea that I was going to go fly T-38. So it wasn't, I'd rather have stayed flying the Hornet, but at least I got to fly something.
Sure.
When the T-38 thing happened, dude, we had no idea. And,
behind a desk.
Right as I found another job, things took a turn for the worse. And it wasn't until last year that I found an awesome group of leaders that saw the reality and saw the potential. And although it wasn't flying, it was a job that I felt like I could do to make a difference. And, would I have rathered, go fly F-35? Yes. F-16? Hell yes. Especially an F-16. Would I want to go fly an F-16 right now? Yes. But I think I'm fortunate that 2 years later, I'm sitting here and things have worked out as they have. It might not have been what I thought, but it's better than I imagined. And if you'd have said 2 years ago, hey, or 1 year ago, mover, you'll be reviewing this finny flight footage with the blessing of, headquarters, and, everybody's happy and thinks this is awesome for everybody, I'd have been like, you say what now? But I think things have worked out in a way that I never expected. I'm grateful for the people, including Naveed, that made this a reality.
Yeah. Thanks, man. That's so cool. My parents they'll love that. That's
they're
awesome.
going to lose it, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any attacks? Yeah, dude. I thought you'd enjoy that. It was just cool to do that. We got some questions from the audience, so run through them real quick. Lou says T-30 is one of the sexiest aircraft, even if it's old as dirt and uncomfortable. Thanks for the Gonky reaction bed. Greetings from Oregon. Avgeek Joe says T-38 adversary how? Better than you would think.
Yeah.
Saturation.
I don't understand. Okay. Yeah. Tactics. Sure. Just bury them with numbers.
Yeah. You got to be wily.
Pretty much.
Let's see. Jack says, in this video, you can hear Gonky say dude on the radio multiple times. That's how you know it really is Gonky.
Is it that bad?
Yes.
You know what's
who you
crazy?
are.
Is my son is
Don't
starting
change
to talk
anything.
like that. And I'm like,
Oh, it's perfect.
dude, you can't talk like that.
He's like, dude, dad, dude.
I know. I don't know where I picked that up from.
Be authentic.
Time in California.
Mom, Matt, did I
think
talk
it's
like this
generational.
22 years ago?
I think it's generational. I
You've
call my
always
wife
been
dude.
this way. Yeah,
I can't
you've always
call
been
my
this
dude.
way, man.
Really?
It's the second part. It's the second part of your call sign. That's all.
Dude,
All right,
bro.
that's enough deep intel on that.
John says a great video. You can't bully that poor man anymore.
I'm not. I'm actually using it in
bullied
context.
out of using it, and now you've preempted it.
I want him to bring it back.
I'd love to know what you guys are even talking about because I haven't followed any of this,
So-
and I'm too afraid
Dude,
to
it's
ask.
hey man, it's a
bullied
creator
Rio.
inside joke.
Gonky bullied this Rio
Oh, I
and
did.
never using his own catchphrase again.
I never bully anybody, man. Just a
Cyberbullying is not a joke, Gonky.
No, that's a real thing.
John says, great video testament of how camaraderie within a paramilitary organization spans a lifetime. And dude, that's a great point. You see, talking like when in Rome. But if you look at that picture, with the exception of one, maybe two people, that was a family.
Oh, 100%.
That group picture, the finest Americans I've ever served with.
And unfortunately, a lot of them had left because that place was kind of
retired. Yeah,
Right.
retired, got new jobs.
Yeah.
You know, it was such a tragic way that it went away because when I showed up
it was awesome.
in 2018, I didn't know what to expect. You know, and we had a hurricane, and that kind of put a damper on things. But that time, dude, I think other than the fact that I wasn't a huge fan of the T-38, 2019 was probably the highlight of my flying career because the bros in that squadron, guys and girls, were some of the best people I'd ever flown with because everybody was cool. Everybody came from a different community. It wasn't like, you know, Hornet, everybody's a Hornet guy. Viper, everybody's a Viper guy. This was like you got a Strike Eagle dude, kind of weird. C model guy, you know, a Viper dude, a Raptor guy, you know, and everybody had this mix of where'd we come from.
Yeah,
but it didn't matter because we were all one squadron and taking care of each other. And, you know, we were going through this rough time with the hurricane, and we all kind of bonded together in the uncertainty. And unfortunately, from a bigger perspective, you know, they didn't see that and go, hey, this group needs to stay together and stay flying. And it's a real shame because I think everybody there were just awesome. Just some of the greatest people. That dude, that flyby we did, I mean, highlight of the career. That was, you know, of the things I've done, that was one of the coolest things.
Well, it's always, you know, when I was the RAG IP and one about probably when you were an IP as well, like some of the students would ask me about the squadrons and like I'd pick their brain. Hey, where do you want to go? I want to go to VFA, whatever, because they have the newest jets. And I'm like, no, man, you want to go to the squadron with the coolest bros because the airplane's the airplane. You're going to have to work, play, cruise with this same cadre of people. You're going to be spending a lot of time with them. And if they're like family to you, it's going to be the best time of your life. But if you guys don't get along, you could be flying the brand new, shiny, whatever, and you're going to be miserable. You know, it's all mover. It's like you were saying, man, it's all about, you know, you say bros, it's just kind of a term of just good people. Right. So,
You know what I found interesting, and when you say that about, you know, people wanting to fly the newest jets, in my experience, the squadrons that were the closest had the oldest and the most beat up ones.
That's all we had.
It's
Yeah.
because it was
It's-
something you can bond to, you know, when you're flying a lot
You're the
12
underdog.
Charlie.
Well, dude, that's
Yeah.
that's life. Like you look at some of the happiest people, they're the salt of the earth living in the poorest of conditions. Like there's one side of my family that, you know, they live out in the hills and the woods, and dude, you cannot tear that. Like they all live within throwing a rock at each other, and they're all, you know, happy.
Yep.
It's just that's what happens, you know. When you take
Yep.
away the material side of things, you find what's more important.
Yep, 100%.
And that's, but for the T-38, we all had shared back and neck problems. So
We were all old. Most of us were old.
with
You
back and
probably
neck
had no
problems.
idea where you were
True.
geographically at any point in any flight.
No, we had iPads. Gonky, a couple of those videos, it flashed the old Garmin. That's how I could tell it was a thing, because we had the old Garmin. But anyway,
Ocean South.
we're all, yeah. Zippers Forever seems odd that my dad flew T-38 from 66 to 67. You did a Finney flight in 2022. I think
I had the
those
same jet.
jets were 60s,
Late
high
60s, early
Yeah.
70s. Yeah. Wild.
JB Smoke says they did justice to you two in this video,
Sure
more than
did.
we deserve.
Yeah, 100%.
Laura says, I hope this kind of positive attention helps you get you guys back in jets. I love the sentiment, but it's probably the opposite.
Probably, unfortunately.
Yeah. Lynn says, hilarious wombat comment loading. Just look at his face right now.
Not this time. Not
Comment
this time.